Hello and a very warm welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. You're watching the news tonight with me, Frank Rausen Pereira. And as we do every day, before we begin with the headlines, Rajya Sabha TV would like to make an appeal to all its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Remember to wear a face mask and wash your hands and face regularly. And do ensure that you maintain physical distancing whenever you are stepping outside. These simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic. And now it's time for the headlines. Private sector must assist government in creating defense technology for 21st century. Prime Minister Modi spells out steps to make defense sector self-reliant and a leading global exporter. Prime Minister Modi kickstarts development projects in Assam and West Bengal, flags off extension of metro railway from Noapara to Dakshineshwar, asserts that Bengal needs BJP government for real transformation. Over 1 crore 11 lakh people vaccinated across the country. Union Home Minister Amit Shah reviews progress of campaign. Government issues new guidelines for 6 states witnessing surge in new COVID cases. Congress government falls in Puducherry. V. Narayanasamy resigns as Chief Minister. Opposition parties to hold discussions on staking claim to form the next government. BJP wins all 3 seats in the Rajya Sabha by-elections. Dinesh Anavadia and Rambhai Mokharia elected unopposed in Gujarat. Bishwajit Daimari re-elected from Assam. Let's begin with our top focus on the bulletin this evening, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi has emphasized the need to make India self-reliant in the defense sector. Calling for a private sector to play a key role, he said that the government has raised the capital outlay for the defense sector by 19%, which shows the government's commitment for its modernization. Here's more.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday addressed a webinar on the effective implementation of the union budget's provisions in the defense sector. He emphasized that the private sector can play an important role in research, innovation, design, manufacturing of indigenous defense products to make countries self-reliant in the defense sector.
अब भारत अपनी कैपेसिटीज और कैपेबिलिटीज को तेज गति से बढ़ाने में जुटा है। एक समय था जब हमारे अपने लड़ाकू विमान तेजस को फाइलों में बंद करने की नौबत आ गई थी, लेकिन हमारी सरकार ने अपने इंजीनियरों, वैज्ञानिकों और तेजस की क्षमताओं पर भरोसा किया.
Pointing out that India did not make ventilators before the coronavirus pandemic, Prime Minister pointed out that India manufactures thousands of them now. Prime Minister Modi listed a series of measures taken by his government to make India Atmanirbhar in defense, underscoring the need for reducing import dependence of defense equipment. The Prime Minister said from net importer, India must move forward to become an exporter.
आजादी के बाद अनेक वजहों से इस व्यवस्था को उतना मजबूत नहीं किया गया जितना किया जाना चाहिए था. हालत ये है कि स्मॉल आर्म्स के लिए भी हमें दूसरे देशों की तरफ देखना पड़ता है. ऐसा नहीं है कि भारत के लोगों में टैलेंट नहीं है. ऐसा नहीं है कि भारत के लोगों में सामर्थ्य नहीं है. मंगल तक पहुंचने की क्षमता रखने वाला भारत आधुनिक हथियार भी बना सकता था.
The Prime Minister appealed to the private sector to work with the government in a coordinated manner to create defense technology as per the need of 21st century.
आपने देखा होगा कि 2014 से ही हमारा प्रयास रहा है कि ट्रांसपेरेंसी, प्रेडिक्टेबिलिटी और ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस के साथ हम इस सेक्टर में लगातार एक के बाद एक कदम उठाते हुए आगे बढ़ रहे हैं.
The Prime Minister informed that India has made a list of 100 important items related to defense that can be manufactured indigenously with the help of local industries.
सरकारी भाषा में ये नेगेटिव लिस्ट है, लेकिन मैं इसको जरा अलग तरीके से देखता हूं. जिसको दुनिया नेगेटिव लिस्ट के नाम से जानती है, मेरी दृष्टि से ये आत्मनिर्भरता की भाषा में पॉजिटिव लिस्ट है. ये वो पॉजिटिव लिस्ट है जिसके बल पर हमारी अपनी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कैपेसिटी बढ़ने वाली है.
Prime Minister Modi added that defense corridors being built in the country will help local entrepreneurs and local manufacturing. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday also inaugurated the extension of metro railway from Noapara to Dakshineshwar in West Bengal and flagged off the first service on this stretch. He also inaugurated the third line between Kalaikunda and Jhargram. Addressing a public gathering in Hooghly district, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the projects unveiled today will ease the lives of millions of people around Hooghly.
ये तमाम प्रोजेक्ट्स पश्चिम बंगाल को उन इलाकों से भी जोड़ रहे हैं जहां कोल इंडस्ट्री है, स्टील उद्योग है, जहां फर्टिलाइजर तैयार होता है, अनाज पैदा होता है. यानी इन नई रेल लाइनों से जीवन तो आसान होगा ही, उद्यम के लिए भी नए विकल्प मिलेंगे.
While stating that West Bengal has made up its mind for Parivartan, the Prime Minister said that the state's infrastructure development is the priority of his government.
मुझे हैरानी है, इतने वर्षों में जितनी भी सरकारें यहां रही हैं, उन्होंने इस ऐतिहासिक क्षेत्र को, इस पूरे क्षेत्र को अपने हाल पर ही छोड़ दिया. यहां के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को, यहां की धरोहर को बेहाल होने दिया गया. भाजपा उस सोनार बांग्ला के निर्माण के लिए काम करेगी जिसमें यहां का इतिहास, यहां की संस्कृति दिनों दिन और मजबूत होगी. ऐसा बंगाल जहां आस्था, अध्यात्म और उद्यम सबका सम्मान होगा. ऐसा बंगाल जहां विकास सभी का होगा, तुष्टीकरण किसी का नहीं होगा.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday inaugurated the important oil and gas project and engineering colleges in Assam. Addressing the public at the event, the Prime Minister called the Northeast region a new growth engine of India. He said the centre and state governments are working together for the balanced development of Assam, and the major basis of this is the state's infrastructure. He also criticized the previous governments for failing to recognize the potential of the Northeast region for decades. He added that the government is working on the mantra of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas and Sabka Vishwas and has overcome this discrimination.
किसी व्यक्ति उसकी मूलभूत सुविधाएं मिलती है तो उसका आत्मविश्वास बहुत बढ़ जाता है। बढ़ता हुआ ये आत्मविश्वास क्षेत्र का भी विकास करता है और देश का भी विकास करता है। आज हमारी सरकार उन लोगों, उन क्षेत्रों तक पहुंचने का प्रयास कर रही है जहां पहले सुविधाएं नहीं पहुंची थी। अब व्यवस्था ने उनको सुविधा देने पर बल दिया है। पहले लोगों ने सब कुछ उनके नसीब पर छोड़ दिया। जिन लोगों ने दशकों तक देश पर राज किया, उन्होंने दिसपुर को दिल्ली से बहुत दूर मान लिया था। इस सोच की वजह से असम का बहुत नुकसान हुआ। लेकिन अब दिल्ली दूर नहीं है, दिल्ली आपके दरवाजे पर खड़ा है।
Moving on to other news now, two BJP candidates from Gujarat have been elected unopposed to the Rajya Sabha from the state. Dinesh Chandra Anawadia and Rambhai Mukharia were declared elected uncontested on Monday as the opposition Congress party did not field candidates for the two vacant seats. One of the seats was earlier held by its veteran leader Ahmed Patel and had fallen vacant after his demise. The other seat was left vacant as BJP's Abhay Bharadwaj passed away in December last year. Meanwhile, in Assam as well, BJP candidate Bishwajit Dayamari has been elected unopposed to the Rajya Sabha on the last date for withdrawal of nomination papers today. Well, it's time for a short break on the program, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Watch The Big Picture at 9:30 p.m. only on Rajya Sabha Television.
The prolific British poet and story writer Joseph Rudyard Kipling, one of the first masters of short stories in English. In 1894 appeared his Jungle Book, which became a children's classic all over the world. Kim, the story of Kimball O'Hara and his adventures in the Himalayas, is perhaps his most felicitous work published. Set in and concerned with India he had come to know and love so well. In 1907, Kipling became the first English language writer to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature.
In 2002, through the 86th Constitutional Amendment dovetailed with Article 21A, a new fundamental right came into existence. Under this, the state was tasked to provide free and compulsory education to all children between 6 and 14 years of age by making appropriate laws. To grant it legal framework, Parliament passed the Free and Compulsory Education Act, RTE Act 2009, which came into force from 1st of April 2010.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television. This is News Tonight and I'm Frank Rausen Pereira. Well, Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Monday reviewed the COVID-19 situation in the country in the wake of the sudden spike in cases in the states including Maharashtra, Kerala, Punjab, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. The ongoing vaccination drive and the steps needed to check further spread of the virus were also discussed in the meeting. The review meeting was also attended by Health Minister Harsh Vardhan. India's total tally of COVID-19 cases surpassed 1.1 crore with 14,199 new infections being reported in a day, while active cases registered an increase for the fifth consecutive day, according to the Union Health Ministry data updated on Monday. The death toll increased to 1,56,385 with 83 daily new fatalities. The number of people who have recuperated from the disease surged to 1.06 crore, taking the national COVID-19 recovery rate of 97.22%, and the case fatality rate stands at 1.42%. India began its vaccination drive last month, and more than 1.14 crore people have received at least one shot of the required two each. Those vaccinated so far are healthcare and frontline workers. Some political news now. The Congress government in Puducherry fell on Monday after Chief Minister V. Narayanasamy resigned ahead of the confidence vote in the Assembly. Narayanasamy met Lieutenant Governor Tamil Isai Soundarajan and submitted the resignation of his four-member cabinet ahead of the Assembly elections due in April-May. The government's numbers dropped to 11 MLAs in the House due to a spate of resignations of Congress party MLAs and a DMK legislator recently. The majority mark in the Puducherry Assembly is 14. With just 3 months to the polls, the opposition NR Congress-led alliance, which has 14 MLAs, may be asked to form the government. The Lieutenant Governor may also call for President's rule. However, opposition leader N. Rangaswamy said it has no plans to stake claim to form the government as of now, and that discussions would be held. Well, the Uttar Pradesh government on Monday presented the biggest ever budget of the state, which was to the tune of around 5,50,270 lakh crore rupees. The first paperless budget presented by the State Finance Minister Suresh Khanna in the State Assembly was also the first paperless budget of any state in the country. State Finance Minister, the budget is focused on 4 sectors: infrastructure development, public health, human resource development and agriculture primarily. Yogi Adityanath government has also announced to provide financial help to destitute women under Mahila Samarthya Yojana till they get alimony from the court. Meanwhile, the Bihar government presented a 2.18 lakh crore rupees budget for 2021-22 fiscal in the Assembly with no new tax and a thrust on infrastructure and social sectors. Bihar Deputy Chief Minister and Finance Minister Tarkishore Prasad presented the state's budget 2021 in the State Legislative Assembly on Monday. The state government laid out that it will award 25,000 rupees to unmarried women who pass intermediate exams. It also allocated 110 crore rupees towards the establishment of new engineering colleges. Well, the budget session of the Chhattisgarh Vidhan Sabha began on Monday with the customary address of the Governor Anusuya Uike. In her address, the governor said Chhattisgarh has made new achievements even during the COVID pandemic period. She said Chhattisgarh has become the first state in the country to procure paddy for more than 95% of the farmers under the MSP scheme. The budget session will continue till March 26th and will have 24 sittings. Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel will present the budget for the next fiscal on March 1st. Well, the Patiala House Court in Delhi sent climate activist Disha Ravi, arrested in connection with the toolkit case, to one-day police custody. The Delhi police had sought 5-day custody of Disha Ravi, whose 3-day judicial custody ended on Monday. Police said she was required to be confronted with co-accused Nikita Jacob and Shantanu Muluk. A 29-year-old man who allegedly climbed one of the tombs of the Red Fort during the violence in Delhi on Republic Day was arrested on Monday. Jasprit Singh is one of the associates of Maninder Singh, who was arrested last Tuesday for allegedly swinging swords at the historic monument. Some international news now. India and Mauritius signed a comprehensive economic cooperation partnership agreement on Monday during External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar's visit to the country. The agreement will expand opportunities in trade, goods and services, investment, economic cooperation, and technical assistance between the two countries in the post-COVID era. It is a first-of-a-kind agreement of India with an African nation. The two sides also exchanged letters on provision of Dornier aircraft and Dhruv helicopter by India to step up Mauritius's maritime monitoring capabilities. India also signed a special $100 million defense line of credit and has also been signed today, which will enable the procurement of defense assets from India. S. Jaishankar met with the Mauritius Prime Minister Pravind Jugnauth in Port Louis and conveyed Prime Minister Narendra Modi's greetings to him. The two leaders held comprehensive discussions on the status of implementation of various infrastructure projects. He also held talks with Foreign Minister of Mauritius, Alan Ganu, and reviewed bilateral relations and development partnership. He reiterated that India will be a ready partner in Mauritius's economic recovery and revival efforts. He also handed over 1 lakh additional doses of made in India COVID vaccines to Mauritius.
This landmark agreement is far-reaching and should unleash new and expanded opportunities in trade, in goods and services, investment, economic cooperation, and technical assistance. The SECPA will encourage Indian entrepreneurs to invest both in Mauritius and across the whole region.
Meanwhile, Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla said on Monday that India, as a responsible nuclear weapon state, is committed to maintaining credible minimum deterrence with the posture of the no first use and no use against non-nuclear weapon states. Addressing the high-level segment of the Conference on Disarmament, Shringla said India is also committed to the goal of universal, non-discriminatory and verifiable nuclear disarmament. Well, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurated the 26th edition of the Hunar Haat at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in New Delhi on Sunday. Speaking on the occasion, he said that the event has been playing an important role in strengthening the country's economy. More than 600 artisans and craftsmen from over 31 states and union territories are participating in the Minority Affairs Ministry's event being held at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium on the theme of Vocal for Local from February 20th to March 1st.
हम इसका विकास करना चाहते हैं। अभी तक विलेज इंडस्ट्रीज का पर ईयर का जो टर्नओवर है अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 80,000 करोड़ है, 80,000 करोड़ है। हमारी सरकार ने लक्ष्य निर्धारित किया है कि 2-3 वर्षों के अंदर ही हमको इसे 5 लाख करोड़ रुपए तक का टर्नओवर के लक्ष्य को हमको हासिल करना।
And before we leave, let me remind you once again to stay safe from the coronavirus pandemic. Remember to wear a face mask and also ensure that you wash your hands and your face regularly. Also, maintain physical distancing whenever you are stepping outside. Remember that these simple steps are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic.